Alright, welcome back everyone. It's David, aka Fairmere4731. I'm going to be bringing you a tutorial on naval warfare and how to win battles and just the basics of it. There's been some videos out there, but they don't have all the tactics in them that I particularly like and use. So I'm going to get right to it. Alright, so in this, I'm just going to quickly declare war on France, and here you can see I've got 1/5 rate versus a 5th rate, 2 6 rates, and a brig. So let's get right to it. Alright, so we're going to get to this battle. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to change to chain shot, and let me start sailing towards them. The reason I'm sailing towards them is because they have the wind, so they're going to be sailing at me with full sails. I'm going to just close the gap. That's why I'm sailing towards them, and I want them to continue sailing at me in this direction. So, a couple things here. First thing and tip I'm going to show you is on using your manual firing, and you're only going to do this in certain situations. Usually, and mostly if you're outpowered by a ship that you have range close to yours that you don't want them to shoot you, you can use this. There's a couple really good effects to using this that I'm going to show you. Let me speed this up just to get them a little bit closer. Okay, now I'm going to have them pretty much close enough. Now, in this, you'll see this is my field of fire. Anything that comes, anything that comes about in this range, right about in there, I'll be able to shoot. Now I'm about to. Okay, so you want to shoot just before you turn, especially if you're in the process of turning. Now you can see how when I shot kind of low. So your chain shot goes higher, so it's going to shoot lower, and it's going to shoot closer to the water line. So you can see I took out 3 cannons by doing that. Now it does take some practice to get down the manual firing, and you can see he came into range and he shot with his front cannons at me shortly after. But you can go further back. It's just because I'm talking and don't have the time. And now you can see I'm using the regular fire, and I'm just going to keep flipping about so each broadside can take shots at him. And you can see up here at the top is his power for his mast. You can see how I'm cutting into that. So as I take one of his, or I'm sorry, not his mast, but his sails. So as I take down his sails, that white bar is going to go away. And he didn't get him just there. So what he's trying to do is he's trying to flip around and shoot me with the broadside. But since I'm turning, the AI believes that they should turn back the other direction. So that's why this strategy is effective. Now, keep in mind that AI doesn't always do that, and sometimes you'll get shot right behind him, which is not good. So you need to use this tactic and know what you're up against when you do it. Now you can see he's in the yellow with his sails. The 2 green bars on either side are for your hull strength on either what do you call it, bow. I should know, I'm doing a tutorial. This shot's going to go at the 6th rate, most likely. Nope, still went at the 5th rate. Okay, now the reason they're all peeling off instead of being in a line, I just killed the admiral. So there goes his mast, is because I must have cut down a chunk of his mast. And when you do that, they're dismasted, they're going to break out of that single line formation, and they're all going to come at you at once. So this is the part where it's going to get a little more intense. But again, you just keep that motion of flipping about, and you can't always go wrong. Now I am still in range of that 5th rate, so I just knocked down another mast. That's good. So he's going to be pretty much dead in the water. So I'm eventually going to get out of his range. But you can see that they're quickly closing the gap on me right here. So I'm going to take a shot on this brig, it looks like. And then the 6th rate is most likely going to get a shot on me. So I'm going to double it up. Oh, he's still turning back into me. So, again, this is This is why this is so effective. Now he is going to get a shot here probably. But 6 rates in this regard, they're not very... their strength is not as good as a 5th rate. Their power, I'm sorry, of their shots. Now, see, he is going to start shooting at my cells. So let's hope he doesn't get lucky. Because if you lose a cell, it's you're all out of business. Now, I will say again, I would not normally be this close if I was fighting, let's say, a fleet of galleons. I would not let these guys get this close. That's when the manual fire would come in handy. I would keep my distance from them and make sure that I'm only firing at them. They're not firing at me. And you will run out of map space sometimes when you're doing this. So you need to be aware of where you're at to the red line so that you can flip and you know, if you're going alongside this, as long as you got some wind that they're chasing you with, you'll still be able to shoot their cells. Sometimes you got to spend the time to get away from them so you can get back at them. But you can see how I'm kind of bringing them along with me. They're just following. Now, you got to keep in mind a couple things about the ships you're going up against. 6 rates reload faster than 5th rates. Now, there goes the sail. So, that's something that definitely the 6 rates have an advantage over the 5th rates. Now, there are some people that use the 6 rates in this tactic quite effectively. I myself prefer 5th rates. I started off using this tactic with 6 rates. The reason I went away from it, because 6 rates actually are faster, have a little bit more range than 5th rates do. But the reason I went away from using 6 rates is because they don't have the power. So you're going to be spending a lot more time in a battle, especially against larger fleets. Just the power from the guns of the 5th rate are enough to make it worth it, if that makes sense. So now at the spot where I've got pretty much all their sails down with the exception of the brig. So I'm just going to keep flipping about. I'm going to shoot this one, then I'm going to flip about, shoot that one. Till I get their sails all the way down or they break. There goes another sail or mast. It's a little hard to knock down the sails when you're alongside like I am right now, simply because you're shooting at a much narrower target versus if they're right behind you like that brig is. The sails are nice and full and pointing right at you. I'll show you kind of what I mean. Okay, so I'm going to flip about and try to get that brig. Oh, I still shot the 6 rate. Okay, there's one surrendered. So once they lose the sail, their morale is going to be down. Okay, so you see how I shot straight at them with their sails full at me. You see how easy it is to take down their sails. And you'll find that once you've knocked all their sails out, or all but one, they really don't hang out too much longer after that. So here's after you do that, then you can just start sailing back, which takes quite a bit longer because you're going against the wind. But this is the tactic I like to use against ships that don't have front cannons. I'll just sail up and keep flipping about. Okay, he surrendered. Now I'm going to show you how to avoid the front cannons on the 5th rate. Or other large ships for that matter. Alright, so to avoid the front cannons of more powerful ships, such as fifth rates and above, especially galleons and first rates and so forth that have extremely powerful front cannons, you come up in this angle. So their angle, you can see there's a blind spot here. Hold on, let me pause this. Okay, so your front cannons shoot at an angle like this. So between that angle here and this angle, there's a blind spot that you can get in. And right now, I'm in that blind spot. So he can't shoot me, but I can shoot him. So we're going to get a little closer to make our guns more effective. And keep in mind, he does have one cell, so this is going to be a little trickier. But I'm going to make my turns a lot tighter. If he's able to turn a little bit, he can get a volley on me. Now I'm going to switch to canister shot. I'm going to go in and finish him off. So you can see how I'm coming at him. I'm coming at him in that blind spot. I'm just out of range of his broadsides. So here he's starting to waver as he comes up because he knows I'm in his blind spot. He's got his snipers on the decks shooting at me, but that's about all the damage he can do. Now I am close to being in range of his broadside here, so I'm going to speed up my sail, and there he broke. So at this point, once he breaks, all you have to do is board him. After the battle's over, any ships left, you board. Otherwise, you got to sit there and shoot him. You don't want to shoot him with solid shot too much, because the more damage you do to him, the less money you'll make when you after the battle. And I'll show you that here. Okay, so let's go over this. So again, the tips are, number one, you can use your manual fire if you want to keep out of range of them, as long as you're using chain shot. Your chain shot will travel further because they're shooting at a higher angle, and you'll still hit too low compared to what you're trying to hit is the sails when you use chain shot. But when you use it at a further distance, you'll hit below the water line a lot of times and cause more damage to their guns as well. So using the chain shot on manual fire from greater distance than your automatic fire or fire at will provide you some clear advantages, especially when you're wanting to pace a distance from an enemy fleet with bigger ships that you're not wanting to get hit by. Now, the other thing is, the tip was, make sure that they're coming at you with full sails. That means they have the wind at their back, and they're chasing you. All you have to do is keep flipping about to give them volleys from each broadside as you flip about. And that, as long as you keep flipping, they will continue to flip the opposite direction. So that's why you want to keep flipping about. Now you'll see here I can make an extra 4390 right now. That's huge on the first turn. I mean, that is huge. Think about that. 4,300 more into the bank that you could use. That is amazing amount. Or you could do what I do. I will take one of the fifth rates, so that drops it down to 2810, which is still a huge amount of money to add to your first turn. So that means your first turn, you could upgrade a building that you would not normally be able to afford to do. And think there's a lot of buildings that when you upgrade them, it's every turn you add wealth plus wealth to each building, like roads. So I would be able to afford 1,500 to upgrading roads now if I wasn't able to do it before. So that's per town wealth that you would add just by doing this one battle and getting that. So that's why naval battles are so important. Keep practicing, learn. If you have any more questions, if you need me to do another video, maybe do one against a bigger fleet of all bigger, like heavy first-rate ships versus 2 fifth rates, I can do that, or all galleons, so forth, what you see with the pirates. So if you like this video, please leave a like, and please don't forget to subscribe, and we will see you later.